Alright, I'm doing my first ADDI tutorial. So I just finished doing the yarn winding of the Heartland Lion brand yarn. And I'm going to go ahead and put that on the floor. It's a center pull. It's one skein. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast on. Now, when you have the ADDI, you want to cast on with this first black hook, needle, and then, so I'm going to go ahead and come to that one, and I'm going to put it under the hook, and I'm going to leave a little tail. So now I'm under that hook, and now I want to go behind the next one, so I'm going to turn the handle and go behind this next one. And then I'm going to go under the next black hook, and now I'm going to be on the white. So I'm going to go behind it and then under and then behind. Alright. Whoops. So I'm being careful to go slow. I'm going front and behind each one. Okay, now I'm at the last one, and I'm going to open up this carriage and slide it in. And that's casting on. So now that I've cast it on, I'm going to go ahead and turn the counter to 0. And for a basic adult hat, I'm going to run some rounds. Just depends on how it starts to come out. Now this is the first time that I'm doing this with a center pull yarn, and I'm just going to let the tension of the yarn sitting on the floor go ahead to determine the tension of how this is going to knit. So the first time I've done it, if this winds up being too hard to turn, then I know that the tension is too tight. Alright, so far so good. I did not use any waste yarn to cast on. I'm just using one yarn for this. I'm not running the yarn through my fingers at all either. I'm just letting the yarn on the floor. This is the first time I've done this, so it's an experiment. And so we'll see how that works out. Determine the tension. So that's 10 rows already. Alright, I'm going to run some rows, and then I'm going to be right back. Okay, so I am at 39 rows, and I'm just cranking along. This is pretty much as fast as I can crank. I can't crank any faster than this. There's no resistance of the yarn. Seems like it's doing pretty good. And so I've done a few hats and had different results. So once I get into the 100, 135 row range, then I'll come back because I'm going to do a measurement of the hat. And that's pretty much how I'm going to determine where to stop for my hat. Because I like to have the hat fold over twice usually, or fold up once, but a really large fold. So right now I'm on 55, 56 rows. I'm at 133 rows. Okay, and that's 135. Now, what I do is I pretty much take out the hat, and I take a measuring tape and I put it up the middle of it to measure it. And this, of course, is not an exact measure, just to get an idea. Okay. So this is about 28 inches. Now, I need to show you how much yarn I have left. With not controlling the tension at all. I'm trying to see if you can see this. No. I'm going to bring it up too much. This is how much yarn I have left. That is it. So not controlling the tension at all for the Heartland yarn brings it to the end of the skein pretty much. Now, I do not know what the tension is for this hat. So there is something that I do to see if it's gonna fit. Oh, let's see if I could do this. But I actually fit it on my head. Alright, this is gonna look a little crazy. Let's see. Let's do that. Okay, I need to see if it fits on my head. So, without taking it off the loom, see what the tension is. I'm just gonna fit it around my head. So strange, but because last time I made it too tight. This seems loose. This one seems loose. I could tell because it's really loose. Like it's not snug at all. I know it's a weird way of putting it, but that's how you're gonna find out. All right. So this one seems like it's a little too loose. Put it on your head, and it's sliding off really easy. It's not snug. And let's see if you can see me where I am in here. Where am I? I don't know if you can see me. Okay, I have to come over here and do it. Okay. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just putting it on top of my head at the bottom. And it's pretty loose. This is with no tension whatsoever. And if I fold it up, you know, like right now I have to decide whether or not I want to take it. But I'm just looking at the stitches and it looks pretty nice. The other ones that I've done have been pretty tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a little bit more rows just because it doesn't matter. It's not like I'm going to waste yarn or anything. Because it's just like the end of it anyway. Let's get a little closer. Okay, that's looking a little weird. So I'm at the end of my yarn. And now I'm gonna get ready to take it off the loom. Okay, so disaster. I didn't end at the last one and I accidentally cut this too short. So I'm gonna try my best to take it off of this. I'm not sure how successful it is going to be, but I'm on number 1. So basically I am going to put the hook in between, and then just pull it up and then bring the next hook down, and I'm on number 1. Put the hook underneath and bring it up, and switch to the next one. And put the hook in between the teeth and bring it up. Switch to the next one. And this way I don't have to cast on any waste yarn. But because I cut it so short, I don't know if this is going to carry the hat. So we'll see. Alright, so I'm just going to do this a little faster, bringing it up. And okay, I'm about to lose a stitch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger right there and grab it before it falls off. Alright. I usually do this one at a time. It does take some more time, but I personally have not learned the waste yarn method yet. And so, because I'm more of a crocheter, not a knitter. And these videos basically are intended for people who are new to the process themselves, and my video is all about a true life experience, actually doing it, leaving in the mistakes, trying to correct them, all sorts of stuff like that. Just hanging out and making a hat and seeing what it looks like. And I just lost the needle, just flew right out of my hand. Alright. Now this piece of yarn that I'm working with is really short. So I'm going to have to do some serious squeezing, because I have all of this to go. I'm trying to stay out of my own light here. Okay, this one totally. Okay, this one is where I had to tie on a new yarn because at the last round I didn't end up at the blacks. I thought I did, and I didn't. So I had to tie on. Just tie that there. I haven't done that before, so we'll see how that works. It's like everything's an experiment to me. Alright, so at this time is getting really short and I still have a long way to go. So let's see how I'll do. Let me just turn this off and I'll come back. Alright, I'm on the last few. And this is really close to the end. So this is getting super short. And I've been squeezing it too. All these lessons you learn. Okay, this is the last one. So I'm picking that up. Alright, so I'm squeezing that. Okay, and these are the ones that I tied together. So I'm just going to go back and tie that tighter. Okay. So now here's the piece. And let me just zoom out. Here's the piece. And that's 135 rows roughly. So let's just move over there a little bit. And so I want to be real careful with this as I'm working with it, just because this is so loose. All right, so I'm going to feel confident, and I'm just going to cut these shorter. And now I'm going to take this and tie it pretty tight. Here's my tube. Here's the top that I'm holding. Here's the bottom. And here's that cast on yarn. So I'm going to just pull it a little bit. Pull it a little bit more. Alright, just to get it there. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get that piece up to where I am. So inverse it. I'm going to take the needle with it too. Okay. Alright, here's the top. And what I do, I haven't seen anyone do this. But and just straighten it out on the inside a little bit. So what I do is I seal this up, I pull it tight, and then I take the needle and I go through over there. Okay. So I tightened it up, and then I bring the needle through it, through that top piece. Because when I first did them, they would open up. So I just did that so it wouldn't do that. And now I'm going to take the needle off that and find the outside loop one, and this is from when we cast it on, and close this up, gently rolling in the top. I just want to roll in the top. Okay, now something's going on with my pull. I must have somewhere when I cast it on caught the yarn in the loop, because right at this point it's not turning. And this happened to me before, so if this does happen to you when you cast on and it's not pulling through, it means you caught a loop of the yarn, and I don't see where it is. Sometimes you could pop it out, and seems like it's somewhere right there, but okay, right there maybe? No, let's move in there. Okay, this one, right there, right there, right there. there it's not moving along. So right there I did something. You see? So it's not going to pull. It's not going to pull through. And I can't pop that out. That's too many pieces. So that's where I have to make a decision. And right there it's all messed up. And this is what happened to my first few hats. So that's one of the reasons why I do want to learn how to cast on with waste yarn, because I don't know how to do that yet. And so at this point in time, let's see, I guess I could just, hold on, I want to get that inside. I guess what I could just do, since I have a long piece here, is put the needle back on it. Trying to problem solve. And I'm not a knitter, so I don't know. But I could put it back on here, tighten that up, and go grab the rest of these again. Just in and out real quick. See if this works. And then just tighten it up that way. Because I was going to pull it out, but I mean, I'm sure there's solutions to everything, right? There's no problems, there's only solutions. Alright, that seems to be working, so that's cool. Okay, and then this right here is the inside. This is the inside hat right there. Alright, so yes, this is working. And I only got a few more to go. So well done. And here. And then that's where the stop is. The stop is right there. Alright. So at this point, I'm going to take the needle off. You know what? I'm going to go under one more, just to be sure. I'm just going to grab anything that I can. Doesn't really matter. Just something to bring that tighter at the top. There we go. And now I'm going to tie it with the one that's inside. Make sure that's lining up. Tie it twice, double knot. And there's a little hole at the top, which is why I didn't want to cut this. It's like a little hole at the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just tighten it up a little bit by bringing it through some of these yarns. I'm not putting a pom-pom on this, so just so you know why I'm doing that. Okay, you know what? And I think at that point it is closed, and I'll just tie it again. Alright, use the needle, tie it twice. Now I'm going to cut this piece right there, and I'll cut this piece a little shorter, and then take the needle, put it back on here, and now kind of pick up this layer without picking up the bottom layer, and I'm going to put it right through the hole and then try to bring it right through this piece and cut it, and then kind of just tuck it in. All right, put the needle on this piece. Oops. And put it through the hole. Try to just get this top layer. Put it to the top layer. Cut it off. And now I'm going to see how the hat fits on me. Okay, so let's see how it looks. This is how long it is. And I must have dropped my measuring tape on the floor. Okay, this is how long it is, so it looks obnoxiously long. So this is like 135, 6 rows. So what I do is I like to go ahead and make a brim, put my hat on, and then really make that brim almost the same size as the hat. And that's how I like to wear my hat. And let me see if I was right about the tension on my head. You know, it isn't as loose as I thought. It's not coming off. It's not tight. And the thing is that with the tight tension, with the glasses, it just is very uncomfortable. So I don't like them tight. And that's why I don't touch the yarn. And I'm liking this. So with the center pull yarn, not touching the yarn at all, 135, 36 rows. I get the huge brim I want, because if I want to, I can put it down and then roll it up twice if I want to do it that way. But I really like to have it like just slightly slouchy with a huge, huge brim. So I hope that helps ADDI beginners, because I'm an ADDI beginner and that was the process, and you saw my mistakes and my foibles, and so but you can work with it. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like.